take to assess the voice of God. It's important first for me to say this, that God speaks to us through a number of channels. He speaks to us directly, as it was with Abraham, with Isaac. He said to Isaac, thou shalt not go down, dwell in this land. Your blessing is here. So the breakthrough of Isaac was rooted in the voice of God that he had access to. Genesis 26 verse 1. Thou shalt not go down to Egypt. You dwell in this land. And Isaac went forward. He was strong. He became very great. The Philistines envied him. His faith was built on the voice that came to him. And God spoke to the man called Jacob. He said, what is thy name? He said, Jacob. Thy name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince that has power with God and with man, and has prevailed. And Jacob truly prevailed. From a person, he became a nation. Today we have the nation of Israel. The voice of God can change anybody's story dramatically. Anybody. So God speaks to people directly. God spoke to Moses directly. Everywhere you see, and God said. All through the story of Moses, God said, God said, God said. And through the voice of God, he got 3 million people fed daily for 40 years. Through the voice of God, he had water supplies for them, including washing their clothes. 3 million people. A rock was following them. A mystery. That was a mystery. Their legs were not swollen. Total health care delivery. There was not one feeble person among their tribes. I mean, there is so much in the mystery of faith, but at the root of it is access to the voice of God. If you can hear from heaven, the earth will hear you. So God still speaks directly to people. God speaks to us through his word. Behind every verse of scriptures is the voice of God. Isaiah 34 and verse 16. He said, seek ye out of the book of the law and read. None of these shall fail, neither shall any want omit. For my mouth it has spoken it, and my spirit it has gathered them. So every verse of scripture has the voice of God behind it. 1976, the Lord spoke to me from Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. He says, seek ye first my kingdom, and all these things that others are dying to get, they shall be added to you. Now, from 1976, September 12th, till date, I have not had anything to ask. God has simply been adding anything I would need to me, and he has never failed once. Now, behind that scripture was the voice of his majesty. And when that voice came, it was so strong, I entered into a vow to make that my lifestyle. I've never had occasion to regret it till now. Behind every verse of scriptures is the voice of God. 1983, I was up in a meeting with my few staff who were praying, and the Lord said to me from Psalm 34 verse 5, my son, you have 2 eyes. I said, yes. Can you make one to look up and one to look down? And I tried, it didn't work. He said, anytime you are looking unto man, never claim to be looking unto me. But they looked unto him and they were lightened, and their faces were no more ashamed. Very graphic picture. That was where I came by the law of absolute dependency on God. Looking at no man for any help, including myself. I mean, God is giving us a blessed ministry, but I am not the sponsor of that ministry. So I sleep like a baby. I'm not the sponsor. I have no worries of any kind on that ministry forever. I don't have no worry. We have about 11,000 workforce that draws pay every month. But I couldn't feel nothing because I'm not the one bearing them. The voice that came on the 9th of September 1983 set me free from looking to myself or looking to people for help. Behind every verse of scriptures is the voice of God.